Welcome back, Soccerholics Community. Welcome back to my sub-series called Xtra Time, aka Goals of Our Lives. Today I'm here joined with my colleague, Puchee, Mr. Lindo, Mr. Liverpool. How's it going over there in quarantine, I guess?
It's going all right. I mean, we're about to become Premier League champions, so can't be
Yeah.
so bad.
Okay. I know for sure you'll definitely become Premier League champions for sure in FIFA 20, but I'm not sure about real life right now.
Nice one.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
still, I'm using all my time in the quarantine just praying and hoping that we'll be given the title. But you never know, right?
It will be well deserved. Will it be number 19 if they do officially get it?
Yes, sir.
That would be, if I recall, I think my brother mentioned something about them being one behind if you guys obviously win this season, which you guys should. I don't think anyone's bad at math, so they can understand that there's a pretty big gap between, Liverpool and everybody else. So it's not bad. It's good for you guys. Nevertheless, Lindo, what I wanted to know from you on your end were some goals that I don't know, that stood out to you, that resonated with you during these times? Because I know we don't have soccer going on right now. However, there were some great goals that, we're still talking about, today, about just, how great they were in the moment. So I was trying to maybe see if we can go back to those moments and try to maybe recapture the feeling for the audience to enjoy.
Okay, so first thing off the top of my head, I would say Steven Gerrard versus Olympiacos.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to win that game by 3 goals because they scored 1 against us. And obviously, Mr. Fantastic, Captain Fantastic steps up and smashes it, from outside the box. So that was one of the goals that when I was watching that game, there was that feeling that there's something special going on in this season. And
Okay.
that's the year we went on all the way and won the Champions League.
And
so that's what.
How was that ride? Because I know you recently have won the Champions League with this current Liverpool team that everyone's enjoyed. But take me back to that Liverpool team in particular. Were there any standout players for you with that team in itself besides Mr. Captain Fantastic?
Yeah, that team was special because we did have had Sami Hippi at the back. We had Haman in midfield. We had Jabi Alonso in that team. There were some fantastic players, to be honest. Jibril Cisse was there as well. Milan Baros, So there were some pretty good players. Harry Kewell, who used to be one of my favorite players, but he never got to a good start with Liverpool. He was always injured. But I still, he was just an amazing player for me. Okay. I love the way the guy played. But unfortunately, injuries he didn't have a long career because of injuries. I would say the team we have now, obviously, it's much stronger.
Yeah.
But that was something special in 2005. It was just the whole season. But that's the Liverpool way of doing things, right? We don't always get an easy season with Liverpool. It's always up and down. And, our heart rates always have to go up before we win anything. So we're kind of used to that.
Healthy?
It is very healthy because you get to experience all the emotions a human being is supposed to experience.
Mm-hmm.
So but that team was strong, but I don't think it was as strong as this one is right now.
Okay, it's a fair point, but there's different eras, and different eras are marked by different moments and such. And if I recall, I think it was AC Milan that you guys ended up playing in the finals.
Yes, sir.
Steven Gerrard. Do you recall where you were watching that game by any chance?
Yes. So that game, I have a very good memory of it, actually. So I was at home, actually, with my friends and my uncle. We're watching the game, and obviously we know the story. 3-0 down very early on in the first few minutes, actually. The first minute they scored the first goal, and we're like, here we go, right? And if you look at the AC Milan team, you're like, holy crap, there's no way. This is going to be the toughest game of our lives. And 3-0 down, you almost you lose hope. But as a Liverpool fan, and I'm not even saying this because of what happened, but usually I would have been pissed off and I would have walked away. And I thought of it in my head. I'm like, should I just quit and because my uncle is a Manchester United fan, so he was talking a lot of crap. You can imagine, right on my ear, blah, 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 laughing like an idiot, And I was like, oh, I just want to say something or, yell or something like that. But I'm like, you know what? I could walk away right now and just not come back because we lost the game. But I'm like, no. Knowing Liverpool, they have something in them. They're going to play for pride. I was asking for only one goal, and I would have been happy. You know, if they got one goal, it would have been respectful, and that's all I was asking for. Just make it respectful. Just make it respectful. 3-0 is ridiculous. If they score the fourth one, then it's like absolutely embarrassing for us. So I was asking Liverpool to just score one goal. So I stuck around and watched the game and hoping that, okay, let's see how they start the second half. Knowing Liverpool, they'll bring something. They'll fight for it. They'll at least fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the best 6 minutes of my life, really. I went crazy. I almost broke the door, and my uncle, I was in his ear now. You could see. I wish I could see his face again at that moment when we scored the third goal. And from then on, it was just like, okay, this game is Liverpool's. I mean, there's no way we're losing this now. And one of the most memorable goals again was Steven Gerrard's. He's just, I mean, I don't think there'll be any other player who will replace him in terms of like how important the guy was for Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
And stepping up as a leader. I haven't seen like anybody who would do something like that in a team. He carried some very average teams, as we all know, the arguments every Liverpool fan makes. But he was that leader where he will step up when you need him, and when he scored that header, across from John Anarisa, and then boom, almost outside the box when he scored that goal with a beautiful header. And then as he was just rallying the troops, like, let's fucking go, we got this, and right away, you could feel the goosebumps, it's like, okay, here we go, we're up and running, and shit is about to get real right now. And so that's one of the most memorable goals. And I'm going to tap on something else right on top of it. When Gini Wijnaldum scored that header against Barcelona,
Yeah.
if you look at the replays, that is Steven Gerrard's goal. Like exactly, almost typical. Like exactly, the cross came in from the same side.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful header the same way. It's just like Gini Wijnaldum was in the near post, Gerrard's was in the far post. And Gerrard was a little bit more outside the box, but it was actually very similar. And when I saw that shit, I'm like, that's Steven Gerrard right there when he scored against AC Milan. I'm like, he's there. He's right there. He just scored that goal. That's Gini Wijnaldum, but that's Steven Gerrard right there. It was unbelievable, like, to just see the similarities of the goal, and both very important, obviously. And that was the third, I think, by Gini Wijnaldum, and Gerrard scored the first goal to make the comeback in that game. So that was something that was special, and I felt Steven Gerrard on that one for sure.
Oh, no, dude. I understand the praise. I've had discussions with friends before with like, okay, which player would you pick? Like, for me, like the two situations I've always had this with is like, if you need a player for a season, the whole one game or a tournament thing. If it's a tournament, I'm always going to take Steven Gerrard. For me, if it's like across a full season, I'm going to go with Frankie Lampard, just in my midfield, like into being the heart. And if I was looking at the forward side of things, it's Thierry Henry across the season and Didier Drogba in the tournament. Because those were always the comparisons I always heard all the time. I'm not saying it's definitive black and white, but that's just
Yeah, it's opinions. I mean, who can put Lampard down anyways? Like, it would be crazy to say Lampard is not a great player to pick.
Yeah.
A guy for midfield scoring the goals he's scored in his career, there's no way, right? But for me, Steven Gerrard is just that leadership that he brings into the team. When the team is completely down and out, and when you have Steven Gerrard in the team, the game is still on. And he brought that into the game, right? He brought that into players, and he would tackle as hard as he can. He will track back, and everybody you can see the difference it makes in the team right away, and then the team starts performing, right? So that was something I think goals and assists will never be able to provide for the structure of the team and the leadership that he brings to the team. But yeah, he's definitely going down as one of my favorites of all time.
Rightfully so, man. Like, for me, it's Thierry Henry. I just don't see another player like that. And for everybody, it's always just the player that just takes you off your seat. It's almost kind of sad to say this, but like, I would rather take like a 50% like Thierry Henry over a fully fit striker, just because I know he has that X factor in him. And it's just those great players, as you mentioned with Steven Gerrard, for you just passionately just now, like I can't even question any of it. It's just he has that X gene in himself, or that X factor, just to be the difference maker. And it's just almost like, you know what, this is my story. I see the game. I cheated. I unlock the cheat code and I can just create incredible moments for, you know.
Yeah, they're players who are incredibly good at what they do in terms of like, you know, playing in a team and scoring goals and doing. But like, and this is where stats alone does not tell you. It does not tell you everything you need to know about a player, and that's why I find it very ignorant when people compare goals and assists only to say this player is so much better than the other player. But like, there's so many different factors to a game. You know, there's defensive midfielders allowing number 10s to go and attack more. You know, you put 3 in the middle or you put 2 in the middle, where it means you have more defensive duties. You know, it's like there's so much to the game that you cannot just judge according to like goals. You know, and a player like Steven Gerrard, like I said, you can pick him up and put him in any team, and you're sure you're gonna see some difference in that team because of that one player just getting everybody on a higher level. You know, and that's what he had in him. I feel that was different to some other players who are technically gifted, you know.
He had the whole package. He had all 3.
Yeah,
all 3 ingredients, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, he did. He was a complete player in a way, man.
No, for sure.
He would have played center back and still did a job as well.
I actually forgot about that. He actually did play center back a few games, actually. But you know what? That's what you need from a captain. The captain says, "Screw it. Doesn't matter where I'm on the pitch. I just want to be on the pitch to make a difference, to make sure our team wins." Killer instinct.
And some young players lack that attitude nowadays, right? They want to play in their favorite positions, and if they don't play in their favorite position, they sulk up a little bit. They put their heads on, like, dude, like if I'm putting you in a certain position to play, that means it's an important place to play, you know. And I think you can do the job, you know, do the job for the team, but it's very hard to get them to understand the team comes first instead of you scoring 3 goals, for example, right?
I definitely understand that from my own personal playing career. It's been like I've just kind of played in all these other different positions, and depending on what team, I try to do what I can to obviously play in certain positions. Like I hate playing left back, I hate playing right back or a full back position, but I prefer playing up in the wing.
My favorite position is right back or left back.
Nah, man, I hate. Don't get me wrong. Like you have license to go forward and everything else, and like I'll look at an excellent example right now that I know people are discussing right now is Alfonso Davis back at Bayern Munich. Right now, he's doing a great job as a wing back. When he plays for the national team, he's a winger. So a lot of people are already arguing like, what's his best position? Like I'm glad he can play both positions, but for the next generation, I understand from a marketing standpoint, you want to say that this kid's a winger. However, if our best player ends up being, like a wing back, so be it, I guess. But like, I guess like they feel like a wing back's less marketable than like a full back or, a winger,
I mean, we're past that era, I think, right now. We're getting into modern football. We're getting into modern football where, like I said, 2 of most important players at Liverpool are fullbacks.
Yeah.
I think that mentality is changing right now a little bit. That defenders, there's so many wingers that you can compete with in those positions, but how many real good fullbacks can you tell me there are in the world? So I mean, it's very, very intelligent that he's playing in that position, right? Like you can count them with your fingers, right?
I'm trying right now. I maybe only have 15.
Wingers or fullbacks?
No, just fullbacks.
Yeah, but like how many of them are really world class that you can say that, they'll get into a Barcelona or Man City or Liverpool, for example?
Okay. Marcelo's going downhill, in my opinion. We have
his career is finished, right?
Yeah.
How old is Alaba?
I think he's 31, 32.
Yeah. So those 2 they're done.
Kimmich from Bayern, I guess. PSG, I don't think they have one off the top of my head. Juventus, maybe Alexandro, just I guess maybe off a reputation, he still gets in there. Yeah, I'm struggling for names, and I know viewers are probably going to be like in the chat and below.
Yeah.
You got this fullback, you forgot that one. I'm like, I'm not even
it's on top of the head, right? But like, if you think about wingers, how many can you name right away off the top of your head, right? Like any players who can actually play wing and then they can play number 10. There's so many options to go around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the kid is amazing, and I think he should stick to that position, and he can really be good at that position and then get paid the big bucks, obviously.
Yeah,
instead of forcing the situation.
It makes sense. Like, go where like the shortest line is, I guess should be the expression is like, fullback right now. We have a shortage in fullbacks, globally. I'd like to say true quality fullbacks, as you mentioned. But you look at the winging list, it's so long. If I'm like number 25 best winger in the world, but if I go play fullback and I'm
Yeah,
instantly in the top 5 for my position, why don't I do that? Because that increases
yeah,
my market value. And
yeah,
if you're bringing a
absolutely.
good enough team, you're still going to get your opportunities to go forward to go make the difference.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
Right.
it's true.
And the thing is now the wing position is kind of like dying off. You mostly have to know how to score goals now to be a winger. Before
Yeah.
you used to be running, you run and you cross the ball, and then somebody else does the job, right? That was the old era. Now we're moving into modern football where wingers are goal scorers now. So I mean, can he score a lot of goals? That's another question. It comes down to that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not just about speed anymore. Speed, if you have speed, you play fullback nowadays. You know, you don't play wing. Wing is more about. I mean, there's the Mbappes and other players who are pretty
Yeah.
fast, but they're exceptional, right? They're a different level. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and so if you're gonna be a winger, you need to know how to score goals nowadays. And I think that just makes it a little bit more difficult to be a really good top winger because mostly you're competing with strikers as well, right? Who have a little bit of speed, they can play in that front three position.
Mm-hmm. Like you
So
almost basically you pretty much described your front three over there. I'm not sure if you have any goals from the current front three that you have at Liverpool, like Firmino's goals or Mane's goals or Salah's goals that like kind of stick out and resonate with you by any chance?
Um, what I liked, Mane's goal on top of my head, that against Bayern Munich, that goal was absolutely class.
Mm-hmm.
When he scored, I don't know how first second I
I
can't
think
remember.
he dummied Neuer or something. Or
Yeah, yeah, he faked one side, turned the other side, and just kind of chipped the ball in the back of the net, and that was incredible. I felt really good about that goal. I
yeah.
mean, going to Bayern, you know that it's going to be tough, especially when the game was 0-0 at Anfield. You're like, we don't know what we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come up with something like that, and you're like, holy crap, like, okay, like amazing. And Firmino has so many goals.
Yeah.
Goals are just so class. And I mean, memorable goals, I can say. He likes to score against Arsenal. We know that much, right?
Oh yeah.
So
I remember the 3-3, man. I remember that one. That was a good one.
he's just something else. And when I look at Firmino, I'm not looking at his goals. I'm looking at the touches that he provides.
Mm-hmm.
He might not be the one who actually assists, but it's that first initial touch where he goes to Mane goes to Salah, and then they score. And I think we miss a lot of that. When you look at stats, you don't see those things.
Yeah.
You only see the person who assisted the ball.
Another player that reminded me that actually did that a lot was Thomas Rosicky. Thomas Rosicky had
Yeah.
among Arsenal fans we like to call pre-assist was a big stat. We wanted to justify Thomas Rosicki's influence in the game, but a lot of players have that ability of giving the pass before the actual assist.
And yeah, the assist could be easier, right? But if releasing that first ball into somebody, then you get the assist, obviously. But Thomas Rosicky, speaking about him, I actually used to like that guy a lot.
Yeah.
And I was hoping before he went to Arsenal that he would come to Liverpool.
No.
I was really hoping that because I thought he would have fit into the squad, right? And I was like, please get this guy, and it never happened. Same thing happened with Fernandez now, but
Mm-hmm.
they're fantastic players in all, right?
Yeah, no, fantastic. Thinking back to complete out, I guess your front three, I'll do one for you. Salah's goal against Chelsea, because when
Yeah,
I look at Salah, he scores a lot of tap-in goals for me. But to see that he has a little bit of range as well from outside the box was refreshing.
yeah,
Because out of the front three, for me personally, Mane's the guy. Without him, your front three doesn't work. Don't get me wrong, I respect what Bobby does and everything else and how he functions, but Mane's, for me, he's the one that started this whole era. Because I remember the first time you guys signed him, I had him
hmm
on Fantasy Premier League, 10
yeah,
goals, 10 assists that season for a subpar Liverpool team at that
yeah,
time. But
yeah,
you started to see something was starting. And I like to see that within soccer. And we're seeing it right now with teams like, Chelsea and such, and hopefully Arsenal and as well as United as well. Like a rebuild of these teams. And maybe they can't compete with Liverpool, City, and if Tottenham can sort themselves out, but you know what I mean. But maybe in a season or two, they'll
yeah,
be on top, while those other three teams that I just mentioned, they'll be going through a recycle period of saying, okay, we're maybe not on top, but we're
Mm-hmm.
refreshing the squad so that we can come back next season.
Yep, absolutely.
And then maybe we're going to be throwing in Newcastle soon into that. I don't even know who they could probably sign. Maybe they'll sign Holland, and that'll be their top striker.
I mean, but it's I don't know about Holland because he chose to go to Germany when he could have gone to other teams, right? So
Yeah,
maybe he's not really motivated by all the money. So
I think it's
I won't
motivated
be
more by
surprised.
development.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if he stays there another 2 seasons and really bangs it in Germany, then goes for 100 and 200 million or something like that, right? So maybe he has a plan, and I'm glad that he didn't just jump for the money right away. That shows character of the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know Dortmund is a huge team as well, but he could have gone to United or any other. So anybody would have taken him, really, right?
Yeah. Now
So
my question is, now you got my brain thinking about that about development, because I know Dortmund's a good development club. Has there been any like Liverpool players for you? And I may as well pick Liverpool because they are your lovely team.
yeah,
That has developed as a goal scorer. Like when you signed them, you didn't really know what you were getting, and they've now become like a reliable like goal scoring threat.
well, probably people will laugh or maybe they'll think I'm crazy, but you can talk about Divock Origi. We bought him pretty young,
Yeah.
right? And he's been on loan a couple of times, but the guys is the ultimate professional. And I think for anybody out there, for the kids, if they're watching or whatever it is, like it's the attitude. The guy, he's been sent out on loan and up and back and forth, but when he steps on the field, he gives you 110%, never drops his head. And
Yeah.
man, he's gonna be in the history for us forever. Like we talked about memorable goals. Of course, Origi has to come into play here.
Mm-hmm.
With how many goals has he scored against Everton? He started the whole season, he was scoring goals out of nowhere when we're like, okay, it's a lost cause. And then he comes in and then tucks it in and smashes goals in. So I think, we bought him young, and Liverpool they've always seen something in him.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's not he's not going to be the world class player, but he always stepped up when we needed him, and that's why Klopp still kept around until now, and he still gets his chance here and there. But it's his professionalism that keeps him in the team, and I think he's been fantastic for Liverpool, even though he's not at the same level as all the world class strikers out there.
Yeah, no, I think sometimes it's about the system. I think nowadays more the setup, and I think Liverpool's setup that they have allows a player like Origi to thrive, whether it's being the X factor, or bringing something a little bit different than what you have in the front three. Because I personally look at it, it's tough to replace when like your team's on top and at the peak of their powers. It's really
Yeah.
hard to replace world-class players without shelling out like pretty much what half your squad costs just to upgrade a player for like 2 games, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But we're also rooting for Ryan Brewster, who is a young lad at Liverpool right now, who goes on loan as well, and he definitely has potential, but he has to bulk up a little bit. But he's definitely he's a goal scorer. He's a poacher, and I'm hoping that he will get more of a chance, and hopefully we'll see him come up and bang in some goals. And another player to look out for is Curtis Jones, central midfielder, but he also very intelligent. He's got an eye for goals as well. So he might be stepping in next season a little bit more. We'll see him come up, making more appearances than before. And so the future is great at Liverpool, to be honest. They got some pretty good players up and coming. So looking forward to the next season, to be honest.
I think we all are. I don't know when that's going to start. I know for some people here, they're thinking, hey, why doesn't the season just end as it is? But Puchee, I got to wrap this up, man, because you know what? I'm at my tolerance for Liverpool. I won't lie. But honestly, man, it was fantastic talking to you. Is there anything else that you want to go plug? I know that you're a hard worker in the community out there that the Soccerholic fans may not know. Want to tell them a little bit about you?
Well, so I do run a soccer organization called Toronto Soccer Connection, and TSC in short. So if you want to look, you can search for us, tscsoccer.ca, and you will find information. We do run a lot of leagues. We do pickups. We do tournaments and everything like that. So if you're in Toronto and you want to be a part of a great community that loves the beautiful game, we're passionate about the game. Obviously, that's the first thing that comes into play here. Check us out and join us. Chris also comes and plays with us, so you can also reach out to him if you need to get close to us.
Last time I played, man, oh man,
It was fun.
You guys have to offer fitness classes.
Well, it's up and coming. I'm gonna send you a challenge right after this conversation, actually.
Oh, geez, this should be fun. Nevertheless,
Well,
I look forward to it. Maybe I'll post it for the Soccerholics community to go
there you
enjoy
go.
and have a laugh.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate, man, reaching out and having these conversations. We'll get better as I get more interviews.
No worries. It's okay. Honestly, I love these interviews as they are. The only thing I'm really bad at is the wrap-ups. So watch this lovely wrap-up as I do it. Like fans, subscribe fans, do all that good stuff down below. As you heard from my colleague Puchee, tscsoccer.ca if I recall correctly. Check them out, guys. We'll put them in the comments down below, guys. He's a beloved Liverpool fan. You'll probably see him at Scallywags when the place does open up again. Please be safe, stay at home. Hope you enjoyed this lovely conversation of football, guys. And until next time, have a nice, as they say.